This is an interesting idea as we're in Black History Month, and I've seen people talking about different things related to it. Twitter went in on Iyanla Vanzant last week because she said that racism, sexism, and homophobia does not have to affect you if you don't believe in it, right? I'm paraphrasing. But the idea is that it requires your participation in it in order for it to be true. And if you recall, I think it was last year, this time, I shared a story talking about Neville and talking about his teacher, Abdullah. And I talked about how a man came to Neville and said, you know, I appreciate all these teachings and we create our reality and all of this is wonderful and thoughts are things, but I have an issue that can't be surmounted. It's an issue by the very virtue and nature of my birth. I'm a black man, and so my life, and of course this was during segregation, because of who I am, because of the color of my skin, I can't experience all of the joy, bliss, and abundance that you're talking about, right? So these principles can't be true. And Neville shared with him the story of his teacher, Abdullah, a black man, Abdullah, depending on the pronunciation, a black man who walked the earth in this country freely. He went to the opera house in this country and sat on the front row and nobody bothered him. In the middle of segregation. Physicians and lawyers and teachers and great thinkers sat at his feet and nobody treated him as an other. Why? Because of his consciousness. And so he said, you know, you don't have to take my word for it, but I've seen this and I know this to be true. And so it took that man, it was about 3 years later when he came back to Neville, after unlearning all that he had learned, right? The story of his birth, this story that because of the color of my skin, it means something about what I have access to or don't have access to. And he completely shifted and changed his life. He became a wealthy man. He had the choice of where he wanted to open his business, where it was black people couldn't open businesses. This was in California. And so we recognize that you have this beautiful, powerful possibility to neutralize these ideas. But first you have to deny and not participate in it. Now the other thing, and I was thinking about this morning, so often I hear many of my African-American brothers and sisters speak of slavery and say, we were slaves, right? Now we recognize that our ancestors were enslaved. I am the ancestor of enslaved Africans, that's truth. But when I say that we were in slavery for 400 years, I'm now putting myself in slavery, right? And so we have to understand that in so many ways, we start associating ourselves with victimhood. In so many ways, we place this meaning and associate ourselves on something. You cannot become victorious, right? And if you look at the history of, we're in Black History Month, if you look at all of those who achieved, all of those who we celebrate, all of those who were the great minds and great thinkers, they had to eventually come to this place of understanding who and what they were, that no longer associated themselves with victimhood. It's impossible to be victorious in life and also hold a consciousness of victimhood. It's impossible. And so if we're going to celebrate Black History Month, we have to even think and make sure that we do that affirmatively, because for so often and so many, and I think this was reflected in Mike Pence's comments, that Vice President Mike Pence, his comments, that he referred to slavery when honoring Black history, but it reflects our own national consciousness, because we've unfortunately associated victimhood and overcoming and climbing the mountain and all of those things with Black history, but we can associate Black history with inventors, and we can associate Black history with beautiful art, and we can associate Black history with great thinkers, and we can associate Black history with all of these other things that are affirmative and speak to the nature of all human beings, of the possibility that the circumstances of your birth, even the laws that are on the books, do not have to dictate who and whose you are. That's the story. And see, this is unconditional living. And this is using this principle. This is the law of neutralization.